If you want to be successful in this industry, you have to know how to ace an audition. You need to have an awesome set of monologues and scenes prepared that you can use at any audition. At most auditions, a director will ask you to prepare a short monologue as opposed to reading blind from a script. Your monologue should be 1 to 3 minutes in length. Always be prepared to do 2 contrasting monologues. A comedic monologue, a tragic monologue, a monologue with high energy, and a monologue with low energy.
There are 5 basic steps in role analysis. Use these tips before the audition. Read the entire script, not just your lines. You need to get a feel for all the characters and the storyline. Find out what era the script is from, and is it current? Read the script again, this time focusing on your character. Do you have any hardships or challenges? Visualize scene activity and imagine the blocking or movement not provided in the script. Then ask yourself the following questions about your role. Who am I? What are my relationships to the other characters? Where am I? What's going on? What do I want? What is my character's physical appearance? Why am I involved in this situation?
Don't be late. Time is money in this industry. Try to be like 15 minutes early if you can.
There may be several people waiting with you to audition. Now remember, they are competing with you for the same job. Do not let them intimidate you. For example, if you're an Asian actress and there's a whole room of Spanish girls auditioning too, don't be intimidated. You just might be the actress who changes their mind about what they were originally looking for. It happens.
Always smile when you walk through the door. Remember, you're selling your personality too.
If you're doing Shakespeare, make sure you know exactly what you're saying. If you sound like you're struggling or can't pronounce words correctly, you'll have a bad audition. Buy a Shakespearean dictionary. This can help a lot. If you're auditioning for TV or film, unless it's a period piece, don't do Shakespeare.
Always try to relax before performing. You don't want to waste all of your energy before you get started.
Always be ready to change the mood, tone of voice, or gestures of your character. Directors may like what you're doing, but very often they'll test your ability to take direction by saying something like, "Can you try that again with less energy and more anger?" Don't get upset if they cut you off with direction. It doesn't mean that you did awful. It's actually pretty common.
If you're auditioning for a musical, bring a sheet of familiar music.
Do not do famous scenes or monologues. You don't want them comparing you to the original actor or thinking, "That's not how it went." Surprise them. You can write a monologue on your own or take lines from a not-so-popular TV show or movie.
Be natural. Try not to look like you're acting. Performing on TV calls for less expression. That's why they say less is more. On stage, your movements and facial expressions need to be bigger and your voice needs to be louder so you can get your point across to the audience easier.
Always bring more than one copy of your resume and headshot in case they need additional copies.
If you make a mistake, let it go. Chances are people didn't even notice. The only time they notice is when you bring attention to it. So unless you fell on the floor and cracked your head open, don't say, "Oops, oh, I'm sorry." Just let it go.
Wear comfortable clothing. You're probably going to want to dress similar to what you think your character should wear, but don't wear a full costume. And make sure that you can actually move around the room.
And don't move around unless there's a reason for it.
Remember, all the sounds you make are part of your audition, so try not to pass wind.
Prepare the audition space to suit your needs. If there's a chair in the middle of the room and you're not going to use it, move it. Don't be sitting there running around the chair and then knocking it over.
Don't stand too close to the auditors. You're going to make them uncomfortable.
Never ask if you will be called back. If they liked your performance, you'll usually get notified in about a week or 2.
Don't do monologues where you yell and curse a lot.
If you get a call back after any audition, obviously it means you did well. Now they want to see more. Generally, you should portray the same persona you did at the first audition. Some people even go as far as to wear the same outfit. Hopefully they washed it. When you get a call back, always be prepared to have a change in direction. They may ask you to change your voice, emotion, or body language.
Comical monologues are remembered more often, but know when to use them. If you're auditioning for a World War II drama, a comical monologue may be inappropriate.
Keep in mind that auditors have been watching monologues all day. They've probably seen many bad performances. Make it your mission to give them something fresh and pleasant to watch.
I'm beginning to notice that quite a few films are looking for partial or full nudity, especially low-budget films. Unfortunately, you have to be careful today, especially when you audition, because you never know if it's legit. First of all, never disrobe at the first audition. By union standards, you should always be told ahead of time if your audition involves nudity. Usually you're told after the first callback, and you are always allowed to bring one person with you.
And try not to bring props. If you really think you need a prop, keep it small and limited to 1 or 2, because props can be distracting.
If you didn't like the way your performance went, you can ask the director to do it once more. Not 10 times more, once more. He might say yes, or he might say no due to time constraints, but even if he said no, he might have actually liked what you did. Legit auditions for child actors should be held for a reasonable length of time and during after-school hours. Don't have your child memorize lines a certain way, in case the director gives direction. Practice with your child by having her read the script a few different ways.
Commercial auditions are slightly different from theater and film auditions. You won't necessarily want to wear a full-fledged costume, but be sure to dress the part if you can. If it's a commercial about an auto body shop, dress like a mechanic. If you decide to do a lot of commercial auditions, bring a school bag with small costume pieces and small props, such as a tie, dress shoes, or glasses. Be prepared to dress casually or with business attire. Before you start your audition, you may want to ask if there is a storyboard or illustration of the commercial so you can visually see what they expect. You may be expected to do some improv at a commercial audition. Keep in mind that whenever you are asked to do improv at an audition, you're supposed to be paid a creative fee, because they may decide to use the idea you created in the commercial. It's a good idea to bring a pencil or a pen with you to the audition. This way you can underline keywords or put slashes where you think a pause should go. When you talk to the camera, think of it as a conversation between you and one other person. Like a conversation between two friends. Don't act like you're selling something. Act like it's the greatest thing you ever owned and you can't live without it. When you're reading your lines, emphasize adjectives. Anything that describes the product, such as awesome, better, safer, great. Also, listen to see if the director uses any adjectives when directing you. If you really want to prepare yourself well for commercial acting, analyze commercials you see on TV and take some commercial acting classes. Actors chosen for commercials usually have wholesome all-American looks. Commercial directors usually look for actors who can be energetic and very happy-go-lucky. Most of these actors are well-spoken and don't have any accents. The great part about doing commercials is the directors usually don't care whether you're union or not.
A cold reading is an audition with a script in your hand. A majority of the time, when you attend a cold reading, you have absolutely no idea what the script entails. Just make sure you don't read the script as if you were reading a term paper in front of a classroom. Read it like a performance with a script in your hand, but keep movements to a minimum. Ignore actions and props mentioned in the script. If you can, ask your agent or the casting director to quickly describe the character to you. If you get a chance to look at the script a few minutes before the reading, don't try to memorize the entire thing. If you want to add more power to your cold reading, memorize the first and last lines. And try to make eye contact with the other readers every now and then. But don't direct your reading to the auditors. During your reading, you may want to use your thumb to help you keep place in the script. Using your index finger is more obvious and can be distracting. When you're doing a cold reading, make sure you listen carefully to whatever instructions the director gives you during the reading. To make sure you've got it straight, repeat it back to the director. You can even ask him or her to give you a quick example.
And bring water with you? I'm not even going to explain that one.
You won't land every audition you go to, but each time you audition, you're learning more about yourself and the industry. Auditioning makes you a better actor and gives you thick skin. And most importantly, be confident and have fun.